Welcome to another video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. You can also hit the heart, which is down there. This channel is all about providing information to help others with the evolutionary cycle we're in right now, in this awakening of consciousness. So everybody is a genius, everybody is intelligence, and they are. Just by the simple fact that you have a brain and a body, you are already intelligent, you are already a genius. First, we need to recognize that we are consciousness, a stream of consciousness. We are not the brain. I have also done a previous video entitled "You Are Not the Mind," so it might be worth just having a look at that. So let's see if we can demystify intelligence a little bit further. So we have different brain states, different brain waves that we can access, and you can go and have a look at some of these terms that I'm going to use. We have the delta brainwave, which is very slowly vibrating. That occurs when we are asleep. We then have the theta brainwave, which is just coming up in vibrations per second from the delta. This is like a deep trance state, a lucid state, sort of in between asleep and waking. It's often called like the twilight zone. If you have ever been asleep and fully aware of your dreams, you would be in a lucid state during that. We then have the alpha cycle, so then we come up to the alpha state, the alpha wave, which is a very relaxed state. We are fully relaxed mentally and physically. We then have a beta above that. We then have a beta brainwave, which is where the majority of us all operating for the majority of our waking hours. So this is where we are fully alert, we are conscious, and we are acting, doing, carrying out tasks. Then we have the gamma brainwave, which is vibrating much faster than all the others. And this is what you may also call the genius zone. So you have access to all those different brain states. But let's look at alpha and beta in particular. So beta is the brain wave that the majority of us are operating within, and we are primarily using the left brain, and we are doing a lot of things on autopilot as well in this beta brainwave. Because we are operating from that for the majority of our time, that's also why we have created an identity from this brain state. We have become attached to it in the name of, in terms of, this is our name, this is my race, this is my culture, these are my belief systems. And where that is coming from is a subconscious templating, which is what we took on, which is what's been programmed in the mind, what the mind has been conditioned to by its environment, what's been passed from others, from parents, from school, education. So for the majority of our waking hours, we are operating within this brain state. So if you can imagine, we are within a narrow bandwidth of frequency, so we are quite blinkered in that. But if we then look at the alpha, which is vibrating a little slower than the beta, what's happening in the alpha state, if we drop down to that, is we are synchronizing both hemispheres of the brain. Now, why is this significant? You could say the right brain is the intuition, the intuitive part of the brain. And if we are operating for, the majority of our working hours in that higher level, that beta state, where we are primarily running from everything that's already been programmed and we're just operating from this left brain, then we are missing all the information which we can source, which comes up to the right brain. We then have this, as I say, we then synchronize both hemispheres of the brain. Then we're able to use our brain more optimally. So the alpha state is when we are fully relaxed mentally and physically. You could also call this a meditative state. So a state of meditation. It doesn't necessarily mean we need to sit still and meditate. Some people may have to really practice to bring those brain waves down. But what happens when we reach this alpha state is we are opening up our access to all sources of information, which then comes up to the right brain. We then process it through the left brain, and then that comes forth in terms of our choices, action, doing, behaviours. So the information that comes to the right brain, where are we sourcing that from? Well, we are sourcing that from our unique stream of consciousness. Our unique stream of consciousness is intelligence. So by practicing getting in the alpha state, already we're going to open our access up to greater intelligence. So the information we receive, you have the body. Now the body has its own innate intelligence. The body is also an extension of the earth. We've also got the ability to communicate with the planet, with nature. The body also has energy centres. So we are also able to transmit and receive, to communicate with all others on this earth. We also have the heart centre and the electromagnetic field which is generated from the heart centre is thousands of times more powerful than the field that the brain generates. Now, the heart centre is our direct access to our soul or to our higher self, which then all this information is going to come up into the right brain, and then it's going to come across into the left brain as we put it in a logical order. So say we've also got all of the energy centres. We've also got the pineal gland in the brain, in the centre of the brain. This is also a receiver, transmitter, and not only are we able to transmit, we are also able to receive information from every other soul on this planet and off planet. We also then have our DNA. Now we have 12 strands of DNA. Right now, science will say we have 2, and the other 10 that they can observe and they can physically see, they will say they are junk, they are dormant. We're not quite sure what we do with, what they do, what they're for. Now, science is an exploration of everything that is unknown, which is why science is always evolving. So science is a little behind there in terms of the in terms of the DNA. But in it, straight away, anybody who's of an inquisitive and a curious mind, then why would we have these strands of DNA and yet we're not quite sure what they are? Well, the DNA strands are also receiver transmitters. That's also what we are doing in this evolutionary cycle that we're in right now. We're actually activating more strands of our DNA. Now, our first 2 strands of DNA, which are active and obviously, can be observed, they hold a lot of our genetic imprinting, which is then contributing to the subconscious template that we are holding, which is what we were conditioned into from our environment, what was passed down, which is then, that is already stored, if you like, on the computer, on the hard drive, and then we are operating in this beta state where we continually do and act from that. So the first 2 strands of DNA containing a lot of our genetic imprint. When we start to shift some of that out, which was all of the majority of it was of a inverted, reversed, back to front nature, we then activate further strands of DNA. Now, the receiver transmitter on the DNA is where we will have greater access and knowledge in terms of who we are at a core level. So we are opening up all of these access points when we are coming down to this alpha brainwave. So not only are we tapping directly into our actual intelligence, into our unique stream of consciousness, our soul, our higher self, but we've also got all of these other access points to communicate, to transmit and receive, and take further information in. As I said, then that will all come up into the right brain. It then comes across to the left brain, where we then process it, because we need to put it in a logical order, and then we can make choices, we can move forth in action and do it. What's also happening when we drop down to this alpha brainwave is we are opening up our access to our subconscious templating. So we are now having the ability to heal ourselves and rewrite our subconscious templating. The subconscious template, in which a lot of it, as I say, is inverted, reversed, back to front, which we are shifting out of right now as we make this energetic shift, this evolutionary cycle we're in, where we are moving everything of an inverted nature back to a aligned and natural order. What's also accessible when you slow down and you get into this alpha brainwave is opening up this subconscious aspect. Not only will we find problems there, but there is also the solution. So if we are having anything which is challenging or a problem in our lives, the subconscious is where we can access the solution. So the problem and the solution are basically like the yin and yang, the duality, the polarity. Because this is where we house the duality, the polarity, which we are neutralizing right now to come into alignment, to fully bring these opposites together. So you have access to this intelligence, and therefore the access to the solution for any problem that you encounter. As I said, we can also rewrite this subconscious templating when we are down at this alpha level. Now, this alpha brainwave it's a very pleasant space to be in. It also equates with feelings of peace, happiness, joy. It's the dreaming space. It's the creativity space. So we have that conditioned out of us from quite a young age, because we are taught that imagination is a waste of time. I mean, Einstein once said imagination is the highest form of intelligence, and that is so true. Because when we open up our access by coming down, slowing things down, we are also able to create in this space. So not only are we able to find solutions to any challenges or problems we may have, not only do we open up access to heal ourselves, to rewrite our subconscious, we feel better because we are much more relaxed mentally and physically. We have access to these solutions, and we have access to creativity and a space where we can then envision what we want for our lives and to create it. And not only once we're in this space, a space where we can then envision and create, but we can then rewrite our subconscious templating to match that which we are envisioning and that which we want to create for ourselves. So this is a whole different state to being from what we are used to, for the majority of our waking hours and our days. The beta brainwave, we are stressed in that state. It is a lot of action, it's a lot of doing, it's a lot of battling upstream. And you will have experience of this yourself. We've all had experience of we are wanting to create something, we want to improve our life situation, and we are trying and we keep hitting these brick walls. We are stressed, we hit burnout in this brain state. And that's not to say we don't achieve results when we are operating from that level, but it is the hard work and the struggle in order to achieve those results. But it doesn't have to be. We are battling upstream in this state instead of going downstream. Then we have the gamma brain wave. You could call this the genius zone. And just the fact that you have a brain and a body, you have the ability to move into any of these brain wave states. So the gamma state is where we have really accelerated learning. It's often called being in the zone. And you may see, those who've been observed as, possibly genius, superhuman, the super athletes, really talented musicians, mathematicians. Basically, they are just tapping into a gamma brain wave. So the vibrations are very fast. So you can learn very, very quickly. It is highly focused, this brain wave. You can also rewrite very, very quickly. So you can rewrite your templating very, very quickly in this space because it is a super conscious aspect. So as it is a super conscious aspect and the processor is going very fast, you are able to take in your environment and multiple data points simultaneously, but not only take them all in with focus and attention, you are able to process them at the same time. You have the ability to move into a gamma brainwave. Everybody has the ability to move in to a gamma brainwave. Everybody has the ability to move between these brain states. Say, for example, a mathematician came along and he is presented out in front of him with this huge mathematical problem. And he comes along in the gamma brainwave, so he's in a super conscious aspect now, and he just goes done, and he solved this huge mathematical problem. What is the difference between the mathematician and you? Absolutely nothing. We are intelligent. We are a genius. Every single one of us. But we have been so conditioned into a subconscious templating what has been conditioned into us, and to operate at this beta brainwave, where we are basically just going on the hamster wheel and going on an autopilot and just continuing over and over the original subconscious templating that we took on from our environment. We've been so conditioned into that, then we have not practiced moving our brain waves into different states. Generally, we are not very good at slowing down, at relaxing. Just the very nature of the lifestyles we lead, and the very nature of our external reality, it has become much more stressful. It's much easier to get on that hamster wheel now and to hard work, struggle, burnout. So as we have been conditioned into this brain state that the majority of us have been operating within, that's why we built this very strong attachment and created this identity. Because as the environment, we're conditioned by the environment and what we take on, we then strongly attach to, this is my name, this is my race, this is my culture, this is my religion, these are my belief systems, this is what I think about life. Life is hard. You've got to work hard if you want to achieve anything in life. These are some of the, and alongside that, in our subconscious templating, we also have all of the wounding that each of us took on, where we are generally berating ourselves, we are lacking in self-respect, in self-worth, we don't feel worthy, in self-love, in our boundaries, in our empowerment. And this is all stemming from a lot of the belief systems that we have taken on and then built an identity on that. So by moving these brain states, and certainly by dropping down into this alpha state, slowing things down and relaxing, we are then opening up our access to our innate intelligence. We already have that innate intelligence. The only difference between, say, the super athlete or the musician or the brilliant mathematician that comes along is they've just practiced how to turn the dial. How to turn the dial on the frequency they choose to tune into. And that's basically all one needs to do, is to practice these different brain states. Slow down, open up access to your own innate intelligence. Start to heal, rewrite some of this templating, access the solutions to our challenges, and then take in more of this sensory input that we've got access to. We are synchronizing both hemispheres of the brain. So therefore, we are able to use the brain, the computer, because that's what it is. It's a computer, a magnificent computer, but it is a computer. And when we synchronize both hemispheres of the brain and we take in the totality of what we've got access to, and then we process that, we are then strengthening our outward choices, doing, our action. We are creating much better life circumstances and situations for ourselves. We feel much happier. We feel much more higher levels of peace, of joy, of happiness. And certainly when you tune into the gamma state, because this is a very fast vibrating, super conscious state to being, with access to a quantum field, the feelings that would equate to this level of brain state would be feelings of love, of bliss, even feeling states of oneness, this connection with everyone and everything. So you are a genius. And if, certainly people that I speak to, if anybody was to try and convince me that they were not intelligent, they are not a genius, I would have to disagree with them. I would have to challenge them on that. Because every single one of us has innate intelligence. It's just that we have been conditioned out of it for a great number of years. And now we are slowly moving back into that. We are making this energetic shift into our unique stream of consciousness, into our soul consciousness. We are syncing up the right and the left hemispheres of the brain. We are opening up our access points to not only our soul self through the heart portal, but all the other access points that we are able to receive and transmit from, just by the fact that we are in this reality with a brain and a physical body. So have a look at some of these brain waves. So we have the delta when we are asleep. We have the theta, which just comes up, which is like a lucid, you can access deep healing states in the theta. Then we've got the alpha, which you could say is like a meditative state, so we're very relaxed. Then we have the beta, which is where we're alert, conscious, and we are actively carrying out tasks. And then we have the gamma brainwave. So have a look at some of these brainwaves and some of the information around that. Tips on how you can practice to get into these different brain states and the benefits of each. And also have a look at there's certainly the Heart Math Institute has done quite a lot of work actually, scientific work and studies on the electromagnetic field that is generated from the heart. So that may all be something to look at. But yeah, you are a genius. You are intelligent. Intelligence is not this elusive thing that some have and some don't. So I will leave that there. Take care and catch you next time. Bye now.